Ijtihad means to work with all of one's might, to strive and to take pains. In other words, it is to strive to derive the rules, to solve problems that have not been explained clearly and openly in the Quran or in the Hadiths, by likening them to matters that have been explained clearly and in detail. This could be done only by our Prophet ﷺ, by all his ashab, and of all the other Muslims, by those who have been promoted to the grade of ijtihad. These exalted people are called mujtahids. Allah Ta'ala commands us to perform ijtihad at many places of the Quran. Then it is fard for mutlaq mujtahids to perform ijtihad. They are great people who can understand the rules of the ahkam-i-islamiyya and religious matters lying in the depths of the ayats and hadiths that do not have clearly understandable meanings, by using their understanding of the text and the meaning that can be inferred from the text. Being a mujtahid requires knowing the high branches of Arabic thoroughly, knowing the Quran by heart, knowing what each ayat means, the meanings that it indicates, the meanings lying hidden in it, the meanings that must be given according to the subject, knowing when the ayats descended, why they descended, about what they descended, if they are general or particular, if they are nasikh or mansukh, which means some ayats were changed by some other ayats later that descended. The former are called mansukh, which means changed. The latter are called nasikh, which means the ones that have changed the former. The ayat about wine is a perfect example. If the ayats are conditioned or unconditional, so what that's referring to is that some ayats depend on some conditions. For example, the ayat that reads, "O believers, perform namaz," perform salat, is conditioned because to perform namaz, one has to be sane, in puberty, after pubert, and has to have a ritual ablution. But the ayat that reads, "O people, have iman," is unconditional because everybody has to have iman. How the ayats have been derived from the Qirati Sabah and the Qirati Shaza. So Qirati Sabah, Qirati Shaza. So some ayats in the Quran are read in 7 different ways. Sabah means 7. Each reading has a different meaning. Qirati Shaza means the word which a few of the Prophet's companions used to recite in an unusual manner. We've discussed that earlier. So to know how they've been derived from these two, Sabah and Shaza. Knowing by heart the hundreds of thousands of hadiths that are in the Kutub-i-Sittah. Kutub-i-Sittah is the 6 hadith books which all Islamic savants have confirmed to be correct. So they have to know all of the hadiths, the hundreds of thousands, by heart. And also in other hadith books outside of Kutub-i-Sittah. Knowing when and why each hadith was said and how comprehensive its meaning is. Which hadith is before or after the other. The events that have to do with it and upon what events and happenings it was said. By whom they were communicated or narrated, and the state of the morality of the persons who communicated it, knowing the methods and rules of the science of fiqh, comprehending the 12 branches of knowledge and the indications and symbols of the Quran and hadiths and their clear and hidden meanings, and having these meanings fixed in the heart, having a strong iman and a bright, pure heart, and a conscience possessing superior qualities and serenity. This is the quality of a mujtahid mutlaq. The book entitled Rad-i-Wahabi, which was written in Persian by Mufti Muhammad Sahib, an Indian scholar, contains detailed information about ijtihad and tafsir. The book entitled Rad-i-Wahabi was printed in Delhi in 1264 Hijri and in Istanbul in 1415 Hijri. All these superior qualities could exist only in the Ashab-i Kiram and later in some of the great awliya who lived within the earliest 200 years of the period after them. Later, opinions and predispositions branched out and bid'ats started to appear and spread. In process of time, such auspicious people decreased in number, and by 400 Hijri, there was no one left in the world to satisfy all these conditions. That is, who was a mutlaq or absolute mujtahid.